Welcome to today's episode of Soul Chat, where I talk about different things that will help you to live a more enriching and fulfilled life. I don't know, that sounded cheesy, but that was there. It's true. And I'm in the car again, and this seems like a great thing. A lot of you really loved this. I had a couple messages like, oh my God, I love the chats from the car. If you didn't see, I did a video yesterday where I was like in my place and I was seated, and I don't even know how many people saw that, but these ones from the car seem to be really important. So let's talk about overwhelm, overthinking, over strategizing, and how we can navigate that. So the first thing I'm going to say before we dive in is that I'm not a mental health therapist. I'm not in that space. I'm speaking from my own personal experience with these things. I'm speaking from experience with clients, and then also with the work I do with Akashic Records and tuning into the energy of people and their soul and their highest self and their highest path. What comes through in those sessions for myself, for my clients, that reminds us and teaches us all how we can do the things that I'm going to share. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be sharing from that space today and from my experience. And so my experience, I'll start here. My experience with overwhelm, anxiety, overthinking, over strategizing, my experience goes all the way back to when I was a little girl. Perhaps maybe more of a teenager, that might be more relevant. And I've always had an active mind, always been an overachiever, I've always been a go-getter. And life was great. I mean, from my perspective, life was good. I didn't recognize or realize that I had these things as part of my experience until here recently, as an adult over the past 10 years, I realized that, holy crap, my mind is so active and my mind creates so many stories. And perhaps you can relate to this yourself, is that my mind creates so many stories and gets so active that it works up a whole thing, and I become overwhelmed, I become dysregulated, I become anxious. And when I get into that place, I spin out, my self-doubt raises, I feel very disconnected to like the work that I'm here to do in my business. It's tough. Sometimes it's really tough to come back from that place of overwhelm, over strategizing, overthinking, anxiety. Now, in my experience, those things are all different for me. Perhaps they're different for you too. I don't know, because we are all very unique human beings. But for me, anxiety and overwhelm are similar and slightly different to the overthinking and over strategizing. They do overlap. And so for me, I'm going to share with you some of the things that have helped me and my clients move from these places into more peace and calm, and just being able to see more clearly, hear your intuition, hear your own guidance, trust yourself, that place. The very first thing is that, okay, so I'm going to start with this because I don't always do this. Straight up, I don't always do this. I don't always think to do this. And when I do remember, it helps me out tremendously, and it's breathing. Breathing is one of the things that we can do to be able to like regulate ourselves and bring ourselves back into our body. And this is how I'm going to explain those feelings for me and how I've seen it in some of my clients. They may not be for you, so follow whatever it is for you. But when I'm in overwhelm and anxiety, I feel very ungrounded. I feel all over the place. I feel the energy more in my chest. I feel lost. I feel like I don't know where to grab on. And so breathing is something that can help us to slow down and come back into our body, because energetically, and I'm going to share a lot of this energetically because this is the type of work that I do, is that energetically what's happening is our energy is all over and it's swirling from the brain, and then we get into like the tighter breathing sometimes, and we start spinning out with all these thoughts and things, and what do I do and how do I fix it? And our brains want to fix things. They want to take care of us. They want to come into a resolution. Our brain wants to keep us safe, whatever it perceives to be safe. So the brain is like looking for something to hold on to. And energetically, when we breathe and we come more into our body, it's like we're able to connect in more with our space. And if we can come into our heart space and into our gut and into our body, it's like some of that, like, you know, those like floaty things that are out on the street and they're like full of air and they kind of go, I can't really fully do it since I'm driving, but it's like, and they move around. That's kind of how that time feels to me. And so when I breathe, and we breathe, we can come back into our bodies. That's one of the things. Sometimes we forget, and that's not fully accessible to us in those moments. Interestingly enough, I pulled a card from my friend Lisa, from her deck. It's an affirmation deck, a positive affirmation deck that she channeled from the angels, Lisa Harriet. I'm like, I think her website's Lisa Harriet, but she goes by a different name, and I can't think of it right now. Don't hate me, Lisa, for this, but this card, I know it's going to be backwards, but this card is the one that came out today, Breathe. And I was like, this is so perfect because I'm on my way up to Pinellas County to work with a company called Capacity Path on the crisis stabilization team as a life coach, and to be able to go into the community and provide levity and to provide anchoring and grounding, and even perhaps, you know, just leading some breathing to help people come back into their body. So it's interesting that this came up. And I know I just threw it. One of the things on this card that it says, let me see if I can catch it real quick. It's like, are you breathing? Your life force energy needs a pickup. High vibes await you as you use this practice. And then there's more, and I can't read it right now. I'm going to share with you what came through on a session with a client yesterday who was in this space, and the record keepers and guides led this beautiful visual that I'm going to share with you. So one of the things that they gave, and you can do this too if you're feeling it, and this you can use the breath with this because it'll help slow down everything, is imagine like a fondue, like a chocolate fondue fountain of energy, of white energy, white or gold energy. And imagine like you're the fondue fountain and the energy is coming over you and it's moving down in that very gentle way down and around you. And another visual with this is, like I said, a lot of times when we're overthinking and we're all over the place, for me at least, and maybe for you, the energy's in the chest, it's in the head, it's kind of scattered. It's like, how can you bring your attention and focus with your breath and everything and with that visual down into your heart? You can even do this now, and I can lead it briefly here. And so if you're in a place where you're comfortable, you can close your eyes. My eyes will be open, obviously, because I'm driving. And if you close your eyes and just take a moment to feel the energy of the energetic fondue fountain that is you, that is running down you nicely and gently. Just take a moment to be present with that energy and that white or sparkly gold or sparkly white energy, whatever resonates. And taking an inhale, a deep inhale, a slow one. And on the exhale, allow yourself to melt and to bring your attention and focus down into your heart space. Really taking a moment to connect into that heart space. Continuing to be aware of the energetic fondue fountain that is supporting you and helping you to melt into the moment. And taking another slow, deep inhale. And on the exhale, bringing the energy and your intention and your focus down into your stomach, your solar plexus, down into that area, your sacral area. And taking a moment to connect to that space. Continuing to release any of the tension, anywhere you're holding or you're gripping or you're tense, releasing that. And taking in another slow inhale. And on the exhale, allowing your focus and attention and intention to go into your root chakra and the base of your body by sending roots, energetic roots, down into the earth on the exhale. Allowing these roots to go far and wide down into Mother Earth. And one more inhale. And one more exhale, connecting into those roots that are down into the earth. Continuing to feel the energetic fondue that's melting around you, coming down your body and down into the earth. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and notice where your energy is now and what you're feeling. And notice perhaps how that helped to shift you and to come into the present moment. This is one of the things that you can do if you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, over strategizing, etc. Now I know we're all feeling like loosey-goosey and beautiful right now, but sometimes when we're in these states, it's hard for us to remember to breathe or to remember to do a meditation, to get grounded or to come back into our body. Sometimes we forget, and that's okay because that's part of the practice. I'm going to give you another tool that I use that helps me in these moments. And I have a playlist on Spotify for myself, and I'm happy to share it with you. The name of the playlist is CTFO. If you don't know what CTFO is, it's Chill the Fuck Out. Jen. I put my name, Chill the Fuck Out Jen. And that playlist has songs that help me. The thing is I have to be willing to sit and to be with the energy of the songs, because I have some Mary Magdalene frequency songs on there. I have another song that talks about like breathing into your heart and breathing out pain and breathe in joy and breathing out sorrow and breathing in laughter. Like, to be willing to sit with that for me, and perhaps for you, if you put together a CTFO playlist or whatever you want to call it, you can even borrow mine if you'd like, and I can share that. That is another way that helps me to come into this space. Sometimes I listen to it when I'm driving. I actually listened to it before I hopped on this live because I was feeling this morning. So there was a little bit of maybe a miscommunication, a little bit, not huge. I didn't think I was working today, but then I saw my name on the list that I was going up to support the community today. And typically we meet up here at 9 a.m. So for me, a 9 a.m. means it takes like an hour 40 to get up there. And I woke up at like 7-ish because I didn't think I was going in today. And I saw my name on the list and I was like, oh, gotta go. And I didn't have a chance to do any of my like morning grounding or anything. I just got dressed and I hopped in the car. And then I found out that the start time wasn't until 10:30. But when I got back home, I had a little extra time, but I still was feeling a bit all over the place. Now, it wasn't strong overwhelm. I was feeling off in a way. And for me, the playlist helped. I listened to a playlist while I was getting ready just to help re-ground me and put me in that space. That's another thing that you can do, is you can have a playlist or you can have music that supports you with that. Now, the third way, and this way I'm going to say is a little more advanced, And so the third way is something that's more advanced and that you may be able to do on your own. You may really appreciate some support, and a combination of the two is like, I'm laughing because this is what I'm doing right now, and it's tough and challenging. I'm not going to lie, because it's something that requires patience and the ability to say no to your mind. Is like coaching your mind and being aware of the stories that you're telling yourself about certain things, and being like noticing the stories and be like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to do something else. Right? Like there's these abilities for us. And like I said, this is advanced. Okay. And if you're at this place, this might be too far for you, or maybe you're at this place you can do it. But the thing is like for me, I'm coming out of a cycle of anxiety and overwhelm, overthinking, over strategizing, especially when it comes to my business. And I joined a program to kind of help kick my butt and get me out of that. And still the coach of that program isn't like sitting here in my car, like supporting me on this. I have to notice, like I notice when my energy and my mind is getting caught in those patterns of doubt or overwhelm, or I don't know where the funds are going to come from, or I don't know how this is going to happen, or I don't know, whatever it is. Like I can spin out literally, and I can be gone, and I can literally be stuck in that place where I freeze and I don't do anything. And this third way is this coaching way, where you can coach yourself and be like, hold on, there it is again. I'm not buying into that story. I'm choosing something else. I'm choosing something else. I am powerful. I am resourceful. I know what I'm doing. How can I serve? How can I move? Like that is the conversation that I'm having with myself over and over and over and over and over again. And honestly, it can be a little bit draining, can be a little frustrating, because think about it. Your mind wants to protect you, and your mind wants to find the answers, and not having the answers and coming into a place of trusting that the answers will come, or coming into the place of trusting that you are supported, or trusting your intuition. It can be challenging, especially if you're moving from the place of operating your life, your entire life, from your brain, and operating your life from like your heart and your intuition. I'm going to break that down a little bit if that was like, what are you talking about? Because of course we have to use our brain. What I'm talking about here is I'm finding that the people that I work with one-on-one, a lot of times are at this point, myself included, I've gone through this, is that at this point where the mind has been calling the shots and driving the strategy and doing all the things for so long, for a long time, to where there comes a point where you maybe have been in the spiritual space and you understand the words and terminology, and you want to trust your intuition, and you want to trust yourself, and you want to be able to feel rooted and grounded. And because you've strategized and thought about things, and you've moved in that way for so long, that there are times that it can be challenging to move into the trust of yourself and your intuition, and to hear that guidance, because your mind is used to running the show. And so if that's a transition that you're making, then that process like takes time. It's actually all of the things we talked about today. It's using the music and coming into the peace. It's using the breath to come into the body. It's using these things all as tools to help train your mind that it's okay to be in the body, that it's okay to be in that space, that it's okay to be quiet and calm. There doesn't have to be something on fire at all times. And then reminding your brain to come back. Let me see if there's anything else that I want to share today on this topic. I know what I was going to say. The last thing I'm going to say is that I'm going to be hosting, look at that sun, a 5 or 7 day like mini coaching container. I don't even know what to call it because this is so fresh, but I at least want to put it out there. So I'm looking at when I can start this. It's going to be like 5 to 7 days. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be leading this for free, and perhaps maybe even offering some spots that if you want to be one of the people who gets some like one-on-one support that would be seen by many, because I would put this up on my YouTube and it would be available for lots of people to go through. But if like you wanted to be one of the people that I was able to, you know, coach with the Akashic records and the energy and help, I'm thinking about having a couple spots available for a very, very, very beautiful offering. Like, just because I want to make sure that anybody who wants to be there will be there. I can tell. Can you tell I haven't talked about this before? Interesting. So here, this is perfect to model. My mind is starting to get overwhelmed because it's like, oh my gosh, you don't know what you're talking about. And what are you doing? And you don't have the things. And I'm like, wait, hold on. I do know. And this is the first time I'm sharing it. So basically, here's what I'm saying is I'm putting together a really amazing, like free or low investment, if you want more access and coaching on this, where I'm going to put together a 5 or 7 days of magic, 5 days of magic. And I'm going to be bringing you through a certain outcome that's going to be, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be channeling messages from the Akashic records. I'm going to be using different tools and things to help coach and lead the experience. And we're going to be meeting every day. And the days are going to be, I'm going to set up some times, and the days are going to be available. It's going to be streamed. You're going to have it. I'm going to make this super simple for you. And the intention is going to be to help you get from like A to B in this time. And so that you can experience what it's like to be in like a high frequency energy that will help you to transform your life. And so what I'm going to do is I'm like putting together the details of that. So if you're somebody who wants to be involved, DM me. And so, like I said, there's going to be 2 different things. There's going to be like, hey, here it is. You get to be in the container and here's the lives. And then there's the other one where I'm thinking about like $97, something really minimal, where you can be on the Zoom with me. And so while you're on the Zoom with me, you'll have the chance where I can tune in to you and provide specific to you things that everybody gets to learn about as we're going. So this is something I'm literally doing. I'm going to start it here within the next week. I got to look at my calendar and schedule because we're getting ready to move here soon on the 31st. So I need to look at the times. And so I will be posting that soon. So if you want to be a part of that, let me know. You're definitely going to want to be on this because it's going to be so jam-packed. Like, this is going to be like literally coming into a coaching container with me. Except for it's going to be for everybody and live and something that's available for people to review and revisit. So that concludes our time today for the soul chat. After I'm done today with the crisis stabilization work, if I'm feeling in a place where I can serve later, I will pop on later as well. Probably that's what I wanted to do last time, but I just wasn't in the place for it. So I needed to shift into a different place. I wasn't in a place to serve. So if I can show up later, I plan on it and bringing something to you. So keep an eye out and see you guys soon. Bye.